No, I just ignore phone calls. No, I think my outgoing voicemail says something like, if I'm not answering, I'm probably handling raw chicken and can't touch my phone.
That's a good reason. That's a good excuse.
And it also says, if I don't know you, I'm not going to answer. So, like, just introduce yourself, and then I'll call you back.
The number of fake phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
I hardly answer the phone anymore unless they're in there.
Yeah, I got a spam phone call from China the other day, and it's all in Mandarin, I think.
Wow.
I played it over and over again because it was so fun to listen to. I was like, I have no idea what that lady's saying. But you could tell it's the same version of, like, hello, friend. You have won
congratulations.
It's very practiced and
yeah. But in Mandarin this time around.
Sorry.
There's no part of this interview that's in Mandarin.
Good.
That's a relief.
I'm already relieved.
So how would people know you if they saw you on the street? They'd say, oh, that's the lady from...
That's the lady from the Lobster Shanty.
Yeah?
I hope. Or they might know me from the Ugly Mug.
So tell me about the We'll go back to the Lobster Shanty, but the Ugly Mug you recently divested your interest in, is that right?
I did. So hopefully no one's going to notice I'm gone. Like, nothing has changed. My other business partners just absorbed my shares.
Sure.
And it's going to continue to be awesome. I'm just not going to work there.
Was there just not enough to do here?
Things changed here. Randomly, it's kind of attached to the unemployment rate that I've been having trouble finding staff. And so I'm working more hours here. And
when you started the mug, though, you just didn't have enough to do. Like, you needed something to do in the morning.
Oh, no,
and then run this place in the evening too. Like, was that?
Genuinely, it was before we had a long-term lease here at the Shanty, and I was genuinely concerned that the city was not going to renew, because like every year it was like, are they going to renew this year? So I thought, why put all my eggs in one basket?
Yeah.
And so we got too many eggs going over, and
so many egg jokes, so little time.
Yeah, I know.
With a breakfast place. Yeah. So anyway, you weren't able to find enough people to man here, so you kind of had to refocus your energy.
Yeah, and it just got a lot fast.
Yeah.
One of my go-to guys over at the Mug left. One of my go-to guys here at the Shanty left, and I think it was a lot.
I've heard that from more than one restaurant person who said that the proliferation of restaurants is great, but there's just not enough bodies to run them. And
I mean, we find ourselves selecting people now that we might not have selected 5 years ago or 8 years ago. And we're like, we'll give anybody a try.
Sure.
And a lot of those people just, they try, but they're not. Also, it gets really bonkers here.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just show up.
This isn't like a hang out and relax, like, or it's not. I mean, it's a very fast pace. It's a small space, so it's.
I think the Shanty is like the most flexible place I've ever worked. We will have days where we do $200 all day, and days we'll do $200 in an hour. Like our culture is that we, step up when we need to, and either cut people or flex when we can run the place with 2 people or 15.
Yeah.
It all depends on how many chairs are set up and what the weather's like and what time of year it is.
So I've been in Salem for about a decade. I'm pretty sure the Shanty was here when I got here, right?
Yes.
It's been around that long.
The Shanty has been here since Jimmy Carter was president.
So when did you take over?
We are just about to start our 12th season, so I want to say it was 2007. Yeah.
How did you end up going from being a photography student to cooking and running 2 restaurants at one point?
Yeah. So I went to photography school in the 80s and worked at a really super awesome photo lab that I miss so much.
Yeah.
It was Zona Photo Labs in Cambridge, and then I moved to Somerville.
Okay.
And then I liked the hands-on part of photography, so I did photo finishing, worked for some big-name photographers, and I loved that job so much. And then when digital came along, I kind of was left by the wayside.
Yeah.
And I saw the writing on the wall, and so at the tender age of 34, I went to culinary school.
Really? So that you had to slam it into reverse and go the other way.
Yeah. And I went to school because most people in this industry who are successful have been in the industry for a really long time, and I was kind of starting wicked late.
Yeah.
But I consoled myself by saying that Julia Child went to Cordon Bleu when she was 34, so if she could do it, I could do it.
Sure.
When I graduated, I actually took a picture that I stole from the photo lab of her, and I put it on my mortar board, so she was
cool.
kind of my inspiration.
Yeah.
Lee and I met because I was managing a coffee shop next to the brewery where he worked, and we actually got married up here in Salem before we moved here, back a million years ago.
Well, that leads to my next question. So how long have you lived here?
We moved here while I was in culinary school, so I think it must have been 2001, 2002.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
How'd you end up here? Other than getting married here, was that kind of where? Is that where it started?
I'm from Marblehead, so
okay.
Yeah, I guess technically I was born in Salem.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we lived in Malden for a while, and when we came back to Salem, we found an awesome, like, kind of illegal in-law apartment on Chestnut Street, which I didn't realize how posh it was to live on Chestnut Street.
Yeah.
I was like, when I moved out of the neighborhood, I was like, what do you mean the street sweepers don't come by every day? Like, what? Once a year? What's this? But no, it was nice, and my landlord was awesome. But they sold the house, and so we moved to another place, and then that house got sold. We're like, screw it, we're buying a place.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had like a real steady job. I was the sous chef over at Shoebies in Marblehead.
Okay.
So I was able to qualify for a loan.
Yeah.
Now, owning a restaurant, I pretty much tanked my credit. There it is.
So, I mean, I've always said, because I grew up with family friends who ran restaurants, were in the restaurant industry, and learned from a very early age that restaurant people are kind of nuts.
You have to be.
Yeah, right? So going from culinary school to, like, running your own place is like, that's a huge jump, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I
rather
kind
than
of snuck
like,
into it.
you're not just like working for somebody else. You're working for you. Like, you call the shots.
Like, I started out working in retail. I worked at a Five and Dime in Vinnon Square a bazillion years ago. And then I was moonlighting at Borders Bookstore for, like, extra Christmas money. And they opened up their cafe. They're like, we need cafe people. I'm like, I'll try that.
Sure.
Turns out the cafe people were my kind of crazy. And I was like, I like you people. This is where I belong. And so that was when it started, and that was, like, the early 90s. And then I started, like, moonlighting, just line cooking. And one guy that I was cooking for was like, you should go to school. I was like, really? But turns out I really loved culinary school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like running a, because this is both a local, the Lobster Shanty is both a local institution, but it's also super heavy tourist traffic.
It kind of is, yeah.
So, like, how do you, or is it, or am I wrong about that?
I'm always surprised at how many tourists come in here. I kind of think of us as like a local, like, hidden dive bar kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then we're not. I sort of chafed up against the dive bar thing at first because, you know, I worked at some nice places. I worked at Red Rock, I worked at Grapevine, I worked at Shoebies. Then I came here and I was like, I don't want to just take stuff out of the freezer, drop it in the fryer. And so I tried to do, like, this highfalutin menu.
No.
But now I've settled into some pretty awesome comfort food that I think works.
Yeah.
But crap, what was your question?
Well, is it hard to serve locals and tourists at the same time? Like, keep both customers happy, regulars and people we probably never see again?
I think that in some way, regulars see themselves as, like, having secret access to the place. You know, like, they know everyone's names. They can probably, you know, sneak into the bar when people are waiting to sit at tables. But I feel like I don't think we've ever treated anybody really differently. And over the years, we've actually acquired some tourist regulars.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
We have some dear friends who come from the Midwest, and they come for a week or two every year. We're like, yay, Chelsea and Dennis are here. That we win regulars that we just only see once a year instead of once a week.
Sure.
So I guess that's our goal.
Yeah.
We just want you to be here every day, depending on how many days you're in Salem. Just come every day. It's cool.
You have the additional challenge of being seasonal, too, which is, I guess, around here is not that abnormal. You know, I mean, about 10% of restaurants around here are probably seasonal. When you get up like Gloucester, like Cape Ann,
I was
that
gonna
kind
say
of
maybe
thing.
more like that. But like in Salem, I think we're one of 3 seasonal liquor licenses.
Oh, that's right. That didn't even occur to me at the bar too. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we're seasonal, is because we have a seasonal liquor license. And I really chafed against that for a long time. And now that I've done this enough and struggled through enough winters, even like at the Mug, like, you know, it expands and contracts so much that it's almost kind of smarter to close during the quietest weeks of the year.
Sure.
And then I think in some way it helps the other restaurants in town that are struggling for more diners when it's slow.
Right.
To get some of the people that wouldn't necessarily come to us.
Yeah.
I know we go out more. 'Cause, you know, I feel like the people, you know, Longboards and the Witch's Brew and, you know, Major McLeish's are probably tired of our faces at this point. But,
yeah. Plugs for some favorite local places there,
sorry.
too, right? Yeah. No, absolutely. I had never been to Major's until maybe like 2 years ago. And I walked in, and I'm like, I've lived here for a decade, and I've never seen any of these people in my life. And I think it's because, like...
There's some crossover, Shanty customers, Major's customers.
Yeah. I'm fascinated with the place. I've been back a couple of times.
I like it there.
The steak tips are where it's at.
Yeah. Steak tips are so good.
Yeah,
we share an employee. Brandy works here and works.
Oh, no kidding! Oh, funny.
We share an employee with the Witch's Brew. I don't because most people have a side gig or more than one. Especially if you work here and we're seasonal, you need something to fall back on.
Totally, yeah.
So we have one guy who's driving for Uber this year.
Oh, funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stories he's already told.
That's not a job that I thought about it briefly because I drive a lot for work, and then I realized, like, no.
I'm too socially awkward.
Running a restaurant, you're too socially awkward. Do you spend a lot of time like out in the room?
One of my goals this year is to do that more.
Yeah.
I have a guy that's going to help me run the kitchen full time. We're still short staffed for line cooks, but I think I will be able to be out here a little bit more. Because I enjoy, especially now that we all have relationships, like that I can put the names with the faces. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, people recognize me, or me and my dog.
Dogs help. We were having that discussion earlier. Yeah.
Yep.
Remember the dog's name and not the people names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are you doing to make Salem a better place?
What am I doing to make Salem a better place? I don't know. I mean, I guess I want to create a place where everybody can kind of come and be social. That was one we always talk about, the Shanty magic. That the magic of the horseshoe-shaped bar is that strangers can talk across it. And you can't not eavesdrop because we're right on top of each other.
Yeah, everybody's on top, yeah.
So one lady's like, I'm here from Nevada for a couple of days. I don't know what to do. Everybody's giving her advice about places to go. One of the gals here, she's like, I work at the PBS Museum. Here are some passes. And,
That's
she
awesome.
left, being welcomed by the community just because she asked a question. And we were all like, yeah, we got ideas for you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like it's a good gathering place. When we applied to renew our lease with the city, we had to kind of think about who we are and what we do. And I had a bunch of people started sending me pictures of their children. They're like, these children exist because of the Shanty. I'm like, did we serve you too much?
What's going on with the bathrooms here?
Yeah. There's that one time, but we kicked them out. But I don't know. I just feel like we're somebody's, at the end of the day, talk about your third place. Like, it's not work, it's not home, it's your third place. And I guess that's what I'd like to be for Salem. I also feel like we don't own the Shanty. We are just the stewards to the legacy of the Shanty. And I'm looking for the next person to pass it on to.
Yeah.
Because, hopefully the Shanty outlives me.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, thanks for talking to me. I hope the Shanty outlives both of us.
Me too.
Yeah. Thanks, Diane.
Not that we're going anywhere.
No, I don't plan on it, but
No.
just in case. These are real wood, right?
They are.
Good.